Are you ready for the most controversial project I have ever done? It's hard to believe that this little bathtub alcove is what has gotten me the most negative comments on any project I have ever done. I'm just a girl who wanted some board and batten in her tub cove. So anyway, started by measuring everything out, had to get the window framed first because at this point I was going through and framing every single window in the house. So it had to be done. Craftsman style, simple, easy. Next, I cut the same 1x4 select pine boards to fit the space. I started with the horizontal pieces, and this is where it starts to get a little controversial. I don't use glue. You guys, no liquid nails. Please don't use it. It will make ripping things out a pain in the butt. And believe me, if you're just getting started in DIY, you're gonna wanna rip things out. You're gonna get better. You're gonna wanna do it over. So anyway, I don't use glue. I shoot nails in at a slight left angle and a slight right angle. It'll hold the board just fine unless you have children who literally walk around and try to rip boards off your wall with a crowbar. It's gonna be okay. Space your boards. Honestly, people always ask me this. I do it by my eye. I space them out how I want them, and then I measure to make sure I can get it pretty close. This is where we were after I got all the boards nailed to the wall, but that wasn't enough. I wanted it to have a little more detail. So I went to Home Depot, I went to the trim aisle, and I picked out this little cove molding that I found. This is actually a PVC molding. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It didn't paint quite the same as the wood, which kind of bothered me. But you can spend a little more and get the wood version as well. So I got all those little pieces cut. It was a lot of mitered angles, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably messed a few up and had to redo them. Once that was done though, you'll see it helped where my baseboards were too thin. My boards were 1 inch and my baseboards were 3/4 inch. So putting this trim in the middle made it all pull together and not look like I just had boards overhanging my trim. This was a Faro and Ball project. So this is Elephant's Breath. First, I had to use a Faro and Ball primer, which is specific to their paint. And it was this funky yellow color. I was terrified at this point. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? This paint is yellowish, yuck. Anyway, moving on, got that next coat on of the regular paint, Elephant's Breath, and it started to come together. I know someone's gonna ask, so I'm gonna tell you now, that top color is City Loft by Sherwin-Williams, and here we go. This was a quick and easy project. The biggest problem that everyone seems to have is that I didn't use liquid nails. I've said it once, I'll say it again, don't use glue.